Hey guys, today I'm gonna teach you one of the conic section in analytic geometry in PreCalculus, and that is hyperbola. So by the definition of hyperbola, it is a set of all points in a plane where the difference distances from the two distinct points called foci is a positive constant. So the standard equation of your hyperbola is given by this: x minus h squared all over a squared minus y minus k squared all over b squared is equal to 1. And if you have this kind of equation, the graph of your hyperbola is going horizontally. While if you have this kind of equation, the graph of your hyperbola is going vertically. So it is quite familiar because it looks like your equation of an ellipse, and you are correct. Because the only difference between the hyperbola and the ellipse is your sign. The x-axis minus y-axis is equal to 1. Before of an ellipse, it was x-axis plus y-axis is equal to 1. And that is the difference between the two. So now we're going to learn how to graph a hyperbola. So first, let us graph this given equation of hyperbola with center given as 0, 0. So x squared all over 16 minus y squared all over 49 is equal to 1. We already know that this standard equation is a hyperbola because it has a negative sign. So first thing that we will do is step number 1, constructing imaginary rectangle. So by constructing an imaginary rectangle, it helps us to know how to draw our asymptote later. So first is we will use the denominator of our first term and the denominator of our second term. So for the x-axis, let us use the denominator of our first term, which is 16. So let us substitute this into x squared is equal to 16. We all know that this 16 is a perfect square, so let us take the square root of this 16. It will give us plus or negative 4. So this value, this is the number of units from the center along to the x-axis. So it is the same process. So y squared is equal to 49. Let us use the denominator of our second term, which is 49. And we all know that this 49 is a perfect square. So let us take the square root of this 49, which will give us plus or negative 7, which is the number of units from the center to the y-axis. So this 4 and 7, this 4 is for x-axis, for this 1, 2, 3, 4, and after that, we will draw an imaginary line here in order for us to make a rectangle. So same with y, the plus or minus 7, so let us use this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So same 7 going to up and going down. So after that, you can now draw your imaginary rectangle. So after you draw an imaginary rectangle, you can now draw or make your asymptote. This is helpful to us because this asymptotes, it will give us, or we will know how wide or narrow our hyperbola. So now in step number 2, we will find the value of our c, which we will use this kind of formula. C squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Since in step number 1, we already done in finding the value of a and the value of b. So in this time, we will only substituting the value of a and the value of b in our formula that has given here. So c squared is equal to 16 plus 49. It will give us c squared is equal to 65. And we will take the square root of 65. It will give us c is equal to plus and minus square root of 65. Or simply, c is equal to plus and minus 8 point something. The only thing that you will understand in graphing your hyperbola is that your foci is along in the x-axis if the x squared is a positive. So here in our given equation, we can conclude that the graph of our hyperbola is going horizontally. So if the x squared here is a negative, so we can conclude that the graph of our hyperbola is going vertically. So now we have the value of our c, which is our foci. So we will plot this in our plate. So from 0, we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And since we have put here something, and we will put our point here between number 8 and number 9. So we will put plus and minus. So we will put here into the left and we'll put here into the right. After that, you will make a curvature here or your hyperbola in your vertex, and make sure that your hyperbola should not touch the asymptote. So it will give us to the step number 3, graphing hyperbola. So this is the graph of the given equation x squared all over 16 minus y squared all over 49 is equal to 1. So that's all. Thank you. I hope you understand on how analyzing an hyperbola and how to graph a hyperbola. So thank you.